Sup nerds, here's my BlackWarGreymon X deck profile. Alright, starting off with our Tamas, we are playing 4 Koromon from BT9. Your turn while this Digimon has Agumon or Greymon its name and gets 1000 DP. We're not playing the BT5 Koromon because we really need to prioritize DP in this deck because we're not playing BT12 or Greymon, so we're not going to be like ginormous on our turn. And also this helps us play around the Mirage matchup, so we're not swinging and then triggering their Mirage to gain memory. And then on to our rookies, we are playing 4 Agumon from BT12, Evil's on top of Koromon for 0. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add a Digimon card with Greymon or Omnimon in its name, and 1 Tamer card with Taikami in its name among them to your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck, and then all turns while this Digimon has Greymon or Omnimon in name, it gets 1000 DP. Very good. Spoilers, we're not playing any Omnis or Taikamias in this deck, but this is the best search card. It gets us 4 cards deep, and it also always gives us 1000 DP in all of our stacks, which is really nice. Then we are playing 4 Agumon X from BT9, Evil's on top of Agumon for 0. And then on play / when Digivolving, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with Greymon or Omnimon its name, and 1 X Antibody among them to your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck. Also an amazing searcher. This is the only thing in the deck that actually searches the X Antibody option, which is something we really need to trigger our BlackWar X effect consistently. And then our last 2 rookies, we're playing 2 Promo Zubamons. This is a pseudo searcher in the deck. On play, by placing this Digimon as one of your other Digimon's bottom Digivolution card, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you can return the revealed cards in any order to the top or bottom of your deck. So if it's cards you want to draw, you can organize them in the order you want to draw them, or if it's 3 cards you don't want to see, you just bot deck them. And then if you have a Legend Arms trait, Digimon you gain to memory, that's never going to come up. Basically, like, you'd have to have already one on these on the field for some reason and not have triggered the effect in order to do this and then gain to memory. So basically never going to happen, but the primary reason why we were playing this card is the inheritable. Your turn while you have a black or Legend Arms trait Digimon, this Digimon gains Raid. So it gives all of our bosses Raid, which is really nice when you're playing BlackWarGreymon X, because you can raid into something, check security if you have piercing, then reboot and pop something else at the beginning of your opponent's turn. And that is it. We're just playing 10 rookies. On to our champions. We are playing 4 BT5 Greymon. When Digivolving, if this Digimon has Agumon in its Digivolution cards, gain 1 memory. That is Agumon specifically, so it's only if this card is in your sources. It will not trigger if this is in your sources, because this is Agumon X, just so you guys know. And the inheritable is your turn while this Digimon has Omnimon or Greymon in its name. It gets 2000 DP, which is really nice. Basically, if you get this and your Tama underneath one of your Megas, it's going to be 16,000 DP, which pretty much beats over everything besides a select few Digimon. And what's really good about this, or what I enjoy the most, is if you combo offense training into this guy and have an Agumon in your sources, you basically Evo for a net gain of 1 memory, which is really cool. And then we are, of course, playing 4 Greymon X from BT9. Evil's on top of Greymon for 0, and then the inheritable is all turns once Digimon has Greymon or Omnimon in its name, and an effect would delete it or bounce it to hand or deck. You may trash 2 cards of the same level in the sources to prevent it from leaving play. Really good protection effect, and so we do want to max out on this. And then we are, of course, playing 1 BT11 Greymon X. Bandai, please give us 4 of these back. We promise we won't do anything too nasty. So it does Evo for 3 on top of red or black, but does Evo for 0 on top of Greymon specifically. And then your turn when this Digimon would Digivolve into a card with Greymon in its name, reduce the cost by 1 for each of that card's colors. This is the primary reason why this card was restricted, but please give it back to us. Pretty please, Bandai. This allows us to Evo into the BT12 Metal Greymon for 1 memory, which I agree is pretty broken, but honestly, this deck kind of needs it now. But the other effect is all turns when Digimon with Greymon or Omnimon in its name would be deleted or bounced to hand or deck. You can place 1 X Antibody from this card's sources to the bottom of your deck to prevent it from leaving play. So this is a protection effect like this, except for you have to have X Antibody in order to trigger it. And it's only a once per turn thing, basically, because you can't have multiple X Antibodies in your sources without like DNAing into something. And that is it. We're just playing 9 champions. On to our ultimates. We are, of course, playing 4 BT12 Metal Greymons. Evo's for 3 on top of level 4 with Greymon in name, so we're just going to ignore this. Does have Raid by itself, which is really cool. If you combo this with X Antibody, you can swing Raid into something and then X Antibody Evo into one of your Megas and then run over it with Piercing. And it does have an all turns effect that lets you play Tamers for free, but we're not playing any Tamers in this list, so I'm just going to pass that over. And then the inheritable is your turn while Digimon has Greymon or Omnimon in its name, it gains Piercing, which is really nice. Really nice combo with Raid. And then we are playing 4 BT11 Metal Greymon X. Does unfortunately Evo for 4 memory on your level 4s, but it evos for 1 on BlackWarGreymon specifically, which is nice. And when digivolving until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon can't have its DP reduced and cannot be de-evoed. Then if BlackWarGreymon X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. So all in all, this is really good against certain decks. But against other decks, it doesn't do anything besides the pop effect potentially. And then the inheritable is opponent's turn. Once per turn, when a Digimon becomes unsuspended, if this Digimon has Greymon or Omnimon in its name, trash a top card of your opponent's security stack. So what's cool about this is some people think that your Digimon needs to become unsuspended, but it's actually anything. So like you can Evo a Mega on top of this guy and already be unsuspended, and then your opponent's stuff can unsuspend during their unsuspend phase, and you still get to trash a card, which is really nice. And that is it. We are just playing 8 ultimates. And onto our megas. We are playing 1 BT2 BlackWarGreymon. So this is a very old card, but it's one of my favorite arts in the game. Such a beautiful alt art. He looks so sick. So we are primarily playing this for the meme of having raid with your Zubamon, and then also having piercing with the Metal Greymon and attacking over like a full board and just clearing everything while basically OTKing your opponent because you're checking all their security and then unsuspending. He does evo for 4 on top of your level 5s, which is kind of bad. And then he has a couple of effects. When your opponent has a Digimon with 10,000 DP or more in play, you can reduce the memory cost to play this card from your hand by 6, so he's a 7 drop, which doesn't really come up, but on the off chance that it does, you can potentially do that. But the primary reason why we're playing this for the memes is the other effect. When attacking, if you attack your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP, unsuspend this Digimon. Notice there is no once per turn clause in this effect, so if you have raid, you can guarantee attack over everything on your opponent's field. You just boom, 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 boom. And if you have piercing, you're checking all their security basically. But it is a one of, mainly because it's honestly not that good. It's just like basically a dream to have that combo happen. And then we're playing 2 Gaiomon from BT9. If you really don't want to play for the memes, you can just replace this BlackWar with a 3rd Gaiomon. But this evos for 2 on top of BlackWarGreymon specifically, so potentially evos for 2 on top of this guy if he's already in play, or evos on top of 5 on top of all of your level 5s. He is treated as having Greymon in the name, and he has security attack +1, reboot, and then when digivolving, if this Digimon has a black Digivolution card, de-evo one of your opponent's Digimon, then if he has a red Digivolution card, blitz. So all of your level 5s are black and red, so you'll guarantee always get this effect, which is really cool. This card is always super nice to have. Little Samurai Jack, BlackWarGreymon, very cool card. Really good for being aggressive, and also sometimes if you don't have X Antibody in your hand, you need this in order to clear your opponent's Digimon. And then onto the namesake of the deck, we are playing 4 BlackWarGreymon X from BT11. Does evo for 2 on top of BlackWarGreymon, otherwise evos for 5 on top of everything else. Has reboot. And then has a couple of really broken effects. Opponent's turn, once per turn. When your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP attacks, you may switch the attack target to this Digimon, so he blocks without blocking, which is really cool. And then opponent's turn, once per turn. When a Digimon becomes unsuspended, if this Digimon has BlackWarGreymon or X Antibody in its sources, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. So this is a really powerful effect, and this also, along with the BT11 Metal X, people confuse it and they think that you need to become unsuspended in order to proc this effect. But that is not the case. You can just evo into this guy as unsuspended, and your opponent can unsuspend during their unsuspend phase, and then the effect happens as long as you have X Antibody or BlackWar in your sources. But this is basically the best card in the deck. The primary goal is to swing with this guy after raiding into one of your opponent's Digimon, and then triggering X Antibody, evoing into this guy, and then piercing for a check, and then unsuspending, blowing something else up, and trashing a security potentially, and then protecting yourself on their turn. And that is it. We're just playing 7 megas. And then onto our options, which make up the rest of the deck. We are, of course, playing 4 X Antibody from BT9. While you have Digimon in play, you may use this card without meeting its color requirement. Security, gain a memory, add it to your hand. And then main, you pay 0 memory, because it's 0 memory. Place this card under one of your Digimon without X Antibody in its sources as its bottom card. And then the inheritables are all turns. Effects cannot trash this card from the sources. And then when attacking, this Digimon can digivolve into a Digimon card with X Antibody in its traits in your hand for the cost. So this is how we combo into our BlackWar X as we pass turn. Really good card. And then we are playing 4 offense training, 2 cost option. Main, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, add a red card among them to your hand, return the rest on the bottom of your deck, and then place this card in your battle area. And then main, delay, one of your Digimon may digivolve into a red Digimon card in your hand for its digivolution cost. When it would digivolve by this effect, reduce the cost by 2. And security is place this card in your battle area. So this lets you set up your turn before you actually promote, and then you can promote and like pop off a little bit with these cards if they're set up. The only thing this can't reduce is the BT2 BlackWar because that's a black card, but every other Digimon card in this deck you can reduce the EVO cost. And then we are playing 4 red memory boost promos, 3 cost option, main, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add a red Digimon card among them to the hand, place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order, then place this in the battle area. Securities, place this card in the battle area. And then main delay, trash this card, gain 2 memory. So this is kind of like this, except for it just gives you access to extra memory and also gets 4 cards deeper. But this can only add Digimon. This can add anything, including copies of itself or other options, or Tamers if we were playing them. So we are playing 8 searching cards, and that's why if you notice we're pretty slim on all of our Evo lines. This is how we get away with this, because we basically have 8 copies of searchers. And then we are playing 2 Hades Force from BT11, 7 cost option. And then when you would use this card, if you have a Digimon with X antibody in its sources, reduce the cost by 2. So this turns into a 5 cost option, which is insane. The effect is main, choose any number of your opponent's Digimon and or Tamers whose combined play costs are less than or equal to the play cost of one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name and delete all of the chosen cards. Then one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name may attack a player. And security is delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost. So I will agree, when you are winning, this card is absolutely broken. But when you are losing, this card literally does nothing. This card is a blank brick card in your hand if you don't have anything in play with Greymon in its name. And also, it's only really that good if you have a Mega on the field. If you have like a level 4, level 5, like at best you're popping a level 4 or level 5 on your opponent's side of the field. So for that reason, we are actually playing 2 other removal options, which are very classic. So this is Gaia Force from Starter Deck 1. 8 cost option, main. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon. Security. Activate this card's main effect. This is how, if you're losing, you can still do stuff. Like, I can't tell you how many times playing Hades Force in the past without other removal options. Like, you just have this in your hand, and your opponent just cleared your stack, and you need to clear their stack, but you literally can't. You're just sitting there holding Hades Force while it does nothing in your hand. So I added 2 Gaia Forces, and I have not regretted it. This card's amazing. And it gets even better now that ace cards are becoming more and more prominent, because you're basically only paying like 4 to 5 memory for this most of the time if you're popping an ace card, which is kind of busted. And also when it's checked in security, it's amazing because, like, let's say your opponent's swinging out with 2 guys, you have 1 security left. They swing security with the highest play cost Digimon to play around Hades Force, check Gaia Force, pop the lowest so you don't die. They can play around Hades Force, but they cannot play around Gaia Force, which is really nice. And that is it. We're just playing 16 options. But that is it for the list. I'll be posting gameplay videos, and whenever those go up, they will be in the pinned comment below. But if you guys have any questions or anything I didn't answer, feel free to leave them down in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy seeing this kind of content. Want to come back for more. But until next time, see ya.